you going, guys? First tutorial up in TouchShack. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully this channel is heading in a good direction. Thought we'd start it off with a recommended tutorial from xPingaaa. He asked me to show everyone how to do a flare. He saw it in one of Dubsy's edits, so he's asked me to do a tutorial on that, and I thought it's a good way to start off the tutorials in this channel. So it is an After Effects tutorial. It's not that difficult if you've had experience with After Effects before, you know, simple keyframing, etc. So I've already edited my clip with the Twixtor and syncing that needs to be done. So yeah, gonna import your clip, obviously, and you will need the plugin Video Copilot's Optical Flares. You can get that. There's plenty of tutorials to find that. You can just look that up, but you will need it. So you're just going to want to go into that, and it just comes up with the basic default flare for the time being. To change this, you go to Options, and it'll bring up the window for the plugin. Now you're going to want to delete all these layers that already came with it. Go to Lens Objects. Now you have the basic lens here. You got the glow, the iris, streaks, all that jazz. And then you got the custom ones here, which come with it. You can make your own as well too. But these are a bit more advanced. They have, you know, bright spikes and center dropouts, all the good stuff. But for today, I'm just going to keep it simple, because I know a lot of people that have been messaging me don't have a lot of experience in After Effects or Sony Vegas even. So we're going to make a nice flare here. We're going to start with a glow. That's pretty basic and simple. We're going to add a streak. We'll turn down the brightness. You can turn down brightness just on this little adjustment layer here. You can turn it down, you can turn it up. They can go past 100%, you can go as high as you'd like it. We're going to put as to about, I'll put it to about 60 today. And you can also adjust the scale. You can make it bigger and smaller. Again, you can go past 100, make it as big as you like, but we're going to keep as at, I think 80 will do. We're going to add another one, exactly the same. So we're going to turn the brightness down to 60, turn the scale down to 80, and we're going to head over to the editor over here, and you're going to rotate it 90 degrees. So now we have a nice little plus. Alright, so that's looking pretty nice. I think the flare that was requested on Dubsy's edit had a hoop in it, so we'll add one of them. At the moment it's looking rather big, the hoop, and rather bright, but once you put it over your clip you won't be able to notice it that well. So we'll leave that as it is. Now we're going to add, actually we might scale that down, sorry. Yeah, we'll scale that down to about 70. 70, there we go. Now we will head to the custom and find something that looks nice. I think personally the 5-star looks pretty nice. We'll turn down the brightness on that again. Now at the moment this is just looking like a colourful piece of shit, to be honest. So you head to this little global colour. You pick the colour you want. I think most flares would be a orangey colour, so we'll head over to orange, and not too orange, just a nice colour, and then you press OK. Press OK at the top here. If you want to save this, so you can use it in other edits, you go to Save Preset, and then you just type in what you want in OK. But I don't want to, so you're going to press OK, and at the moment that's looking pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. But what you're going to want to do is head down to the render mode and change that to over original. So now you have this flare, and that's going to be over the original. So in the edit that was using the example, he was on Wasteland and the sun was coming out of a doorway, hence why I chose this clip, so we can try to copy the same idea that Dubsy had. So yeah, we're going to start just by leaving it on the whole time, even though the flare's not going to be there. Just find where you want it on the door, so I'll put mine about here. It's looking pretty nice. And we're going to open up the Optical Flares and keyframe by pressing the little stopwatch. Now you're just going to want to go along, follow keyframe by keyframe. You can do that by pressing page down and page up on your keyboard to go frame by frame. And you're just going to want to move it by pressing this little crosshair to where you want it, and that will automatically keyframe between them two there. So basic keyframing, if you know how to do that, you can skip a little while forward. But yeah, that's what the gist of it's going to be. So from here, the Twixtor stops and he goes into fast motion. So I'll move that back up into the corner. Oops, back up into the corner. Like so. So now that's all keyframed as it should be. Now, so an editing fuck up happened there. I don't know what's going on there, but we will fix that. So just keyframe it at the door, etc. Just keep going along, keyframing all the way, and then we'll get to the hard stuff. So I'll come back when all the keyframing is done, and we'll get to the next stuff. So now that you've got all that keyframed, you're gonna just want to go back through, make sure that it's all how you'd like it. And as you can see, the flare isn't in the doorway here, but we'll fix that in a second. So just make sure it's in the doorway when you want it to be. What I've done here is, because he's further away from the door, I've used scale. I've just scaled it up and down keyframing as well. So that looks pretty nice. Now we're going to go back through, and where you do not want the flare, so I don't want the flare here, you're going to want to go through, find where the flare you want it to start. So I want mine to start about here. Go down to brightness, press the keyframe stopwatch, go back to where you do not want it anymore, set the brightness to 0. Now as you come along, the flare comes up at you. Now I'm going to move these forward a little bit. The flare comes out in the doorway, which is what we want. And then you want the flare to disappear as you go back. So just press this little diamond to set another keyframe. Go forward about 3 keyframes. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Set the brightness down to 0 again. So that looks like the flare is going behind the door frame and you cannot see it anymore, which is exactly what we want. Now you want the flare to come back again about now. Oh, sorry, I gotta do it again. Right. So that disappears as the door frame goes past it, as you can see, which looks realistic and great. So now, what we're going to do to make it even look a little bit more realistic is go up to do flicker, open that up, keep that at smooth, set the speed. The higher the amount, the faster it flickers. So we're going to do we'll do 22 I think, and then the amount is how much it does flicker, so the opacity up and down, etc. So I'm going to do that at about 40. So now as you come along, you can see the flare flickering, which looks great, but I'm going to add a little bit more amount. I'll do 55 and a little bit more speed, so we'll do 27. That is looking great. Now, to top it all off, you're going to want to add your color correction. Just add in any color correction you like. And done. That is how you add a flare in After Effects. If this tutorial wasn't clear, I do apologise. It was my very first tutorial ever. I will get better. Please leave a comment on how to improve, or something else you would like to see, and I'll respond to every message and every comment.